Los Angeles, the largest city in California, is spread over 1,190 square kilometres, and because of its size, the residents depend on a vast freeway system. Over 1,000 kilometres of high-speed expressways make up this vast transport system. Someone has described Los Angeles as 100 suburbs in search of a city.
It's like where everybody lives.
However, LA also has a metro rail system linking various parts of the city to Union Station.
Ascending to the station on this elevator, we boarded the Green Line train, which linked with the Blue and Red Line to travel downtown to Union Station. Most of the rail is elevated, and the buildings we passed are only a couple of stories high. Los Angeles is a sprawling city of low buildings, mostly constructed of timber framing, covered with stucco, giving them an adobe appearance.
Union Station is the last of America's great rail stations. Built in 1939, it mixes two architectural styles, Spanish colonial revival and Art Deco. Inside, the station is spacious with beautifully tiled and highly polished floors. A cafe and rest area are available for passengers. The station is built in the shape of a cross. This hall on one side was not accessible to the public the day we were there. We were impressed with the furniture as it looked like a ticketing room. The timber work in the roof, together with the colourful decorations, is quite impressive.
To cut down echo in the building, the walls are lined with cork. Amtrak trains also terminate at Union Station, and at a previous time we boarded the train here for Seattle. Luxurious seating is available for the public. Union Station is in the old part of downtown LA, which very much reflects the passing of time.
As we left the station, we could see City Hall with its distinctive white tower in the distance. Built between 1926 and 1928, City Hall, at 27 stories high, was the only building over 13 stories until 1957. There were some old deserted buildings in the vicinity. The old No. 1 firehouse was the original fire station until 1897. Restored in 1960, the building houses late 19th century firefighting equipment. The Merced Theatre, built in 1870, was the first theatrical centre built for performances in Los Angeles.
But the real reason for our visit here was to see El Pueblo de Los Angeles historic monument and walk down Olvera Street. The plaza, a public square shaded by 100-year-old magnolia trees, was our first stop, where we were able to find information and history on this famous old street. A large cross heralded us at the southern end of the street. Later we came across the original cross, which at the present is guarding the entrance to a shrine of burning candles. Olvera Street is a colourful Mexican market which started as a short lane called Wine Street. It was extended in 1877 and renamed after Agustin Olvera, who owned a home at the end of the street.
At the turn of the century, the Pueblo area had degenerated into a slum, but thanks to the determined effort of a woman, Christine Sterling, who cherished the Spanish and Mexican heritage, Olvera Street began a new life in 1930 as this colourful marketplace. Several historic buildings line this street. Built in 1887, Sepulveda House is an example of Victorian Eastlake architecture, and as the park's visitor centre hosts many historical exhibits.
Oh, it's right there. It's a black thing with a chimney that goes up to the ceiling.
Mom, is that the only thing in the museum?
Candles have an important place in the lives of Hispanic people in this part. Los Angeles has a 200-year-old Spanish colonial heritage, being founded in 1781 as El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles, the town of Our Lady, the Queen of the Angels. We entered the Avila Adobe, the oldest existing house in Los Angeles. Built in about 1818, it has become the focal point of Olvera Street. The house served as a headquarters for Commodore Stockton during the Mexican-American War, and later became a boarding house and restaurant.
The house surrounds a large open-spaced courtyard open to the sky and dotted with a sample of trees and cacti. It now houses a museum representing the lifestyle of Los Angeles in the 1840s. An old wooden wagon captured our interest. In one corner of the courtyard stood the outdoor kitchen. In good weather, this was where the family food was prepared.
The indoor kitchen was used when the weather turned bad. This also served as a storeroom for utensils and barrels of dry foodstuffs. It was a convenient place also for bathing in a tub full of hot water. Leaving the kitchen, we passed through a small room known as the parlour and found ourselves in the parents' bedroom. The lady of the house spent much time in making this bedroom beautiful, as did all Californian wives. When the ships would anchor at San Pedro, the ladies would accompany their husbands to barter cowhides for choice furniture and fine fabrics. Children used this room from their earliest days to adulthood. Their toys were few, mostly handmade and very primitive. Other rooms in the Avila Adobe house reflected much more of the life and times of LA in the 1840s.
Leaving the Avila Adobe, we continued our walk through the markets of Olvera Street. The Zanzamada, Mother Ditch, was the original ditch bringing water into the Pueblo. It was abandoned in 1904, and the path of its course is marked on the street with diagonal brickwork.
From Olvera Street, we walked back into the plaza and across to the entrance of the Mission Nuestra Senora Reina. This building is a copy of the original adobe structure which was established here in 1781. It was the first mission built in Los Angeles and was founded by a group of Mexican settlers. With our visit to Olvera Street over for the day, we headed back to Union Station, stopping briefly to view a large mosaic wall nearby.